Welcome to the BNB Investing Podcast for real estate investors. Fix and flippers and realtors exploring investment options with Airbnbs and short-term rentals through acquisition, leasing, or management to generate consistent monthly revenue. Join us for a chat with experienced and successful short-term rental investors to hear their story of how they got started and created wealth by building scalable businesses. We also explore various service providers and lenders that help make our businesses more efficient and maximize revenue in this awesome sharing economy. Welcome your host, Rich Monroe.
Hey everyone, Rich Monroe here with BNB Investing Group. Thanks for jumping on. We are here with one of our program members, Tarrian Grant. And just to remind everybody, BNB Investing Group is a mastermind and exchanging ideas for investors that are interested in doing short-term rentals. We look at the master lease strategy, the management strategy, and also the acquisition strategy. So those of you that are just jumping on, if you could please shoot a yes in the comments for me, let us know that you can kind of hear us okay. And we would love to have some questions. We really wanted to kind of introduce Tarrian, and we're going to talk about her experiences recently. She's a new member to BNB Investing Program. She started in the middle of March, and she's already off to a great start for her goals to kind of grow a scalable short-term rental business. So Tarrian, thanks so much for taking some time today with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Rich.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your background before you got into short-term rentals.
Well, I started off in business as a wedding planner about 15 years ago now. Actually, yesterday was my 15th anniversary for starting my business.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, well, not starting a business, but my first wedding. And I know that because it was my brother's, and yesterday was his anniversary. So.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so that was yesterday, 15 years. And then with about maybe 10 years ago, I decided to add travel into it. So I'm also, as a professional, I'm a social worker. So I did that for 25 years prior to becoming a full-time entrepreneur. So now do destination weddings. So I kind of combined my travel business with wedding planning in Atlanta to do destination weddings. So most of my weddings now are in Caribbean islands.
Okay. So that's a good way to have fun and work at the same time.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite island?
Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I don't know why. I just like Dominican Republic.
Okay. Very cool. So what got you interested in looking at short-term rentals?
Really, it kind of flowed together because planning my couple's weddings, I love to just be on the island, do honeymoons, things like that. And I just, at some point, I think it was back in 2019 when I thought I wanted to get into real estate somehow. Didn't know how. I started off with wholesaling because I was told that wholesaling, you didn't need a lot of money. I looked at flipping houses, but for whatever reason, and it just kind of goes along with who I am, I just love hospitality and things like that. And it kind of just goes where my goal is to have Airbnbs in the islands as well. So it kind of goes along with the travel business that I do. So that's how I ended up in the short-term rental.
All right, very nice. And when you joined the BNB program, BNB Investing Program, you had actually already had a short-term rental up and running, right?
I did for a short time. I would probably call it a crash course. Mm-hmm. It was about 6 months so we did, and I did it actually with a friend of mine. So it was kind of informal. It was their house, but it was really a good experience for me because it wasn't a lot of risk. As far as financial risk, we already had the house, pretty much everything. We just really set it up and did it. So, but it was good. It was a really good experience. But it was about 6 months, and then we had to close it down.
Okay, and then so when you joined the group, you basically wanted to start off targeting the master lease strategy, rental arbitrage, to try to get some units up and running. And so tell us a little bit about how that worked out as far as prospecting and looking for those types of opportunities.
Well, I came across I am in a group. Well, okay. So first I was looking, learning in the course how to look and contacting landlords and things like that. You sent me, I don't know if you remember, or tagged me in a post of a lady who was trying to rent out one basement. So I kind of started there, and I can get a little bit into that if you want me to. But and then
Sure.
Okay, so I started there. Did a lease with the lady and was getting ready to do her basement for Airbnb, and I guess it was just kind of inside of me. It wasn't flowing. It wasn't to my standard. I would have to put a lot of work into it. Not horrible. It really wasn't a bad basement, but the standard that I want to be at with the Airbnb is more on the luxury side. It just didn't. I would have to do too much to it, so I decided not to. So that's where I started. Yeah.
No, I remember you had like a laundry list of items that the lease was contingent upon you signing, with the landlord agreeing to make all these improvements, and it was a pretty long list. So, you probably did make the right decision in terms of passing up on that particular one.
Yeah. She was actually pretty nice. Sorry to cut you off. She was actually pretty. She was willing to do a lot of the stuff. She really was. Yeah.
Okay. But I think it's important, and for people that are kind of just starting out, it gets really anxious, right? So, a lot of the prospecting, you're going to get a lot of no's. You're going to get people that just they can't wrap their head around it. They're old school landlords. They just don't want to go there. And so when you finally get a yes, you have to make sure that you're disciplined to check all the boxes, right? Is it reaching my profit targets? Am I going to make a big enough net return to recoup my investment and start making money on that unit? And you kind of have to go through that checklist. And in this example, like you said, the property wasn't up to standards. There were some things that needed to be tweaked and changed, and furniture wise and so on. And so it's really easy to kind of jump into the first yes you get. And so I commend you for having the discipline to say, you know what, this doesn't really feel right. Because at the end of the day, this is something you're going to be living with in your business for, at a minimum, 2, 3, 4 years, hopefully a little bit longer than that. And so, in the beginning, it's good to kind of be disciplined and kind of stand to your criteria, to your target of what you're looking for. So that's a great job that you did that. And so you kept going from there. You kept looking, right?
Yep, I did. I did. And also with that, when I had to go back a couple times, and that helped me make a decision also. I just kind of had to go by at night. I just had to do that. And so that helped me come to that decision. But anyway, I kept looking. And then I am in a group called Black Girls in Real Estate with Janine Smith, who was also one of my mentors. And she specializes in flipping, but in her group, Black Girls in Real Estate, she has just lots of people that do a lot of things. So I met a young lady in Jacksonville who actually has contracts with apartments and things like that. And then she kind of sells a turnkey apartment for us to lease out. So was my second one. And so I did that, and that's in Jacksonville, Florida. So that anxiety was really high with that one also, because it's so far from me. So but
yeah. So because you don't live in Jacksonville, right? You live here in Atlanta.
I live in Atlanta, yes.
Right. And so I think the beauty of this business, though, like we've all talked about, I mean, once you kind of learn it and can kind of build a process behind it, you can do this anywhere in the world, and you don't have to physically be in that market.
That's right.
But it is a little bit anxious when if you got to jump in the car, it's like at a minimum, a 7-8 hour drive to get to Jacksonville from here?
About 6.
About 6 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we expanded into the Tampa, Florida market a little over 2 years ago now, and we have a couple of units, 3, 4, 5 bedroom houses that we manage, and some 3, 4 bedrooms that we have rental arbitrage with. And my wife Marva and I spent about first 2, 3 weeks getting things set up, getting the team set up. But once we did that in the beginning and made sure that everything was correct, I mean, there's no reason for us to physically go down there any longer. And so there's ways to set up the operation in the beginning to make sure you have that boots on the ground coverage. Right. So that's what you did in the beginning as well.
Yep. With your help, it's just telling me all the systems that I needed to use. And it's turning out to be really good right now. I had to make some changes in the beginning with cleaners and things like that. But some of the tips that you've given me has made it a whole lot easier, just being able to operate it without being as anxious. I personally, just because of who I am, had to go down and kind of put my own touches on it and add things. And then I went down recently to just stock up like lots and lots of things so that I wouldn't have to worry about that for a while until I can at least get somebody that, a cleaner that I can trust, which I think I have one now, but still it's going to take some time to be able to do all of that for me, to streamline it like you said, but I'm getting there. And all the things that you've shared with me is working so well.
Awesome. So you went live with the listing when? When did the listing go live?
It went live May 1st.
May 1st. So you're about a month, a little over a month and a half at it right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
How long did it take to get the first booking once you went live?
Not long at all. Probably a couple days, to be honest.
A couple days. And then once you go live, you're kind of off to the races, right? I mean, there's no looking back at that point.
It doesn't stop.
Right.
No.
So I'm going to share my screen and take a quick look at your listing here, so we can show everybody the awesome job that you did. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. Hopefully everybody can see that. So this is Tarrian's 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment in Jacksonville, Florida. And you basically acquired this already furnished, right, Tarrian?
Yep, it was pretty much already furnished. Yep.
Pretty much already furnished. You put a little bit of touches on it, right? Now, did you redo the listing pictures, or did you use the listing pictures that was previously provided?
Oh no, I had a professional photographer to come out and redo the pictures for me.
Okay.
So the pictures were I did new pictures.
All right, it looks awesome. I like the close-ups. You got some games for them while they're there.
Yeah.
Good bathroom shots.
I had to actually tell the photographer to do the close-up, so I got that.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's good direction. That's good direction to give them, because then that differentiates. Some of the other listings, a lot of times, especially hosts that are just kind of doing it and taking pictures with their iPhone, they're not going to go through the extra effort here, and it makes your listing pop when people are looking at the other options.
Yeah.
And so you've got some amenities here at the complex: workout, pool, outdoor grill. Nice, like a common area.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. All right, that looks great. And let's see. So one of the things for those of you guys watching and watching the recording as well, if you notice on Airbnb listings and what we do in the BNB Investing Group community, we try to help each other out. So anytime we have a new listing, I'm going to put the link in the comments so you guys can view the link. But more importantly, if you click that heart for us, it's going to give Tarrian a better ranking. and basically have her listing rise to the top when people are searching. So do us a favor, do Tarrian a favor, give her a quick heart, click on that and save that listing under your Airbnb sign-in, and that'll give her an extra boost. Now, so let's talk about the bookings so far, right? So you went live May 1st. Looks like you were busy pretty much all of June. So you probably had, I don't know, two or three guests coming and going. Looks like maybe 3 guests coming and going during June. And so what's the monthly rent on the apartment?
The rent on the apartment is $1,867.
$1,867. And then all in with expenses, how much does it come to?
It's not much more than that. The only other thing I pay is the internet and electric.
Okay. So another couple of $100. So you're at kind of $2,000 as a cost every month, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And what's your targeted monthly gross rental revenue for the short-term revenue?
At least 3.
At least 3. So that's a good, you're looking at an estimate of about $1,000 a month as a net back. How are you looking for the month of June so far in terms of total revenue? Are you on target yet?
I am on target.
That's awesome.
About 20,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because obviously you've been mostly occupied here. Now, a lot of the things that is effective to do here, because we want to run this like a business, everybody. So Tarrian's off to an awesome start here. She's got 6 solid reviews, 4.83 review average. Everything in this business is about hospitality and about the reviews. And what that allows you to do is the first 30, 60, 90 days of your listing, you're going to be priced a little bit at a discount to try to run your reviews at a higher level. But what then that lets you do 2-3 months later is you can start command a premium and start increasing your pricing because people that are booking are going to be looking at these great reviews and then they're going to want to book with your property, even though the rest of the market might be at 121 a night. You can be able to get 20-30% higher. So most of our students and most of our listings are usually going to outperform what the average market does by 20 or 30%. That's kind of our end game. And like I said, if you guys can see this on the screen, the recent review, brand new place, so bright and clean. Tarrian is a great host and is quick to respond. We had a minor question while we were there. Tarrian responded immediately, went over and above to make sure we were happy, grateful for such an easy trip. So that's an awesome review, Tarrian. So what did you do there to kind of get that person to be so happy, even though there was an incident that happened or something occurred?
Yeah, it was minor, but we had cute K-cups there, but the coffee maker wasn't a K-cup coffee maker. And I didn't realize that, like I said, it was set up prior to me, but I didn't realize it. So the guests before must not have been coffee drinkers because I don't know what they were doing, but she was definitely a coffee drinker. So she realized, and so she sent it over, but I know how coffee drinkers are. So what I did was immediately sent her a gift card, a Starbucks gift card, and apologized for that. Yeah, so she was really happy. She was like, "You don't have to do that." But she was really happy that I did that for her. And I immediately went down and got me a Keurig in there. So now it's a Keurig in there to go with the K-cups.
Nice. That's awesome. And so again, as you, even once you go live on your listing, you're going to discover things along the way. And just like Tarrian did, you're going to just correct it and keep moving, right? So once you've identified an issue, adjust and go from there. In a lot of cases, it's better to have something go wrong or something happen. And the guests are a lot more appreciative of you being able to be so responsive and caring about resolving their issue. And so sometimes that generates better reviews. If people get freaked out and kind of stressed out about stuff happening in the Airbnb, but we actually like when that happens because it creates opportunity, right? To kind of showcase how you want to support the hospitality of it. all these reviews are awesome, great reviews. So your average 4.83 after 6 reviews. One of the other big things that you want to try to push for, and I think Tarrian's off to a great start here, is becoming a superhost, right? So, the superhost status gives you that extra oomph on your listing. There's actually a lot of travelers that will only basically book with people that are superhosts. And so one of the first things you need to try to do when you get started is to strive to push to get to that superhost status. So how do you do that, and what's involved? So you got to have at least 10 trips under your belt, or 3 reservations that total at least 100 nights. So usually she's, after you've got those first initial guests coming in 30, 60 days out, you can easily achieve that. You want to maintain a 90% response rate or higher. This is something that is pretty obvious. You should be actually doing that anyway, because you don't want to, people that are inquiring on the listing, you don't want to not be very responsive, or even people that are staying at the property. And so that's something you should be doing anyway. This next one is kind of logical and makes sense. Maintain a less than 1% cancellation rate, with exceptions made for those that fall under extenuating circumstances. And so what does that mean? So they don't really want you canceling on the guest. So in other words, if you have somebody book a property and they're looking to stay there, it's not cool a few days before that you cancel on them. And so this is something that's frowned upon. You actually can get a penalty fine from Airbnb if you do that too often. And as well, they're going to penalize you for your superhost status. And so that's something to make sure. One of the things that we tell folks to do, and that we do in our business, is worst case scenario, if there is an incident or something that occurs, which will happen, that you have to cancel, try and get the guest to do that, have them cancel, create an incentive for them to do so, whether it's a future credit or some sort of an offset, versus having you do it, right? So try that first. Then if that doesn't work, try to go along the extenuating circumstances policy realm. So what that means is if there's something that causes you to have to cancel that's beyond your control, then you shouldn't be penalized for it. And so, for example, if the HVAC goes out 2 days before the guest is coming and you've got to get a new one repaired, that's considered an extenuating circumstance. And there's a couple of other examples, but this one, Tarrian's already off to a great start. One of the most important ones, obviously, is maintaining a 4.8 overall rating or above, and be able to maintain that on all of your listings. So if you've got 10 listings, all 10 listings, your reviews should be averaging at 4.8 or above. What they do is on a quarterly basis, they review this criteria on the platform pretty much automatically based on your performance. And they look at those 4 different attributes. And so, the next opportunity for the review is July 1st. And so they'll look at Tarrian's listing, they'll see how that criteria is met. And if she's met all those criteria, she'll get superhost status. If she misses it, then it'll go to the next October 1st. But like I said, I think, Tarrian, you're off to a great start. I mean, I think you're going to definitely hit that sooner than later. For those of you guys watching, give us some comments on what you guys think about Tarrian's listing and how she's done so far. I think it's incredible that she's gotten some great reviews. This is what we teach folks to do. And Tarrian hasn't wasted any time making sure that she's off to a great start for that. So please throw that in the comments. Let her know what you guys think there. And also, if there's any questions about what Tarrian's experience has been so far, feel free to throw that in the comments as well. So Tarrian, I've been running my mouth here. I want to hear more from you. So what are your plans now that you've got this one up and running and somewhat on autopilot? What's next? What are you looking to do now?
So I'm looking for another one here back home in Atlanta area, arbitrage. But very soon, I'm also going to go into acquisition and try to purchase, because I would like to do 3 or 4 bedroom home. So I think the apartment is nice and small, and but even when I had my first one, the 3-bedroom home that I had, you can charge more, so I think there's a more of an income, revenue if you have a larger space. So I want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, the more income, but there's also more startup expense too, right? So to furnish a 3-bedroom costs a little bit more than what it would for a 1 or 2-bedroom.
That's right.
Are you gonna try to? So you're gonna try to acquire property through purchasing for the next one? Okay.
Well,
And
both, whatever comes.
So you're keeping the pipeline open for both opportunities. If there's another
Yes.
rental arbitrage, and that's what's great about rental arbitrage, is once you get 1 or 2 of those relationships with those landlords, they're going to see how great the property stays in shape, and how less of a hassle you are, because a lot of their other tenants are constantly bugging them about little minor things that you're going to basically take control of, because you don't want to be waiting on them to fix something. You're going to want to kind of take control of that. And so a lot of the times it only takes 1 or 2 of those landlords to very quickly get opportunities, to where you start out with 1 unit, and then before you know it, you're getting offered 2 or 3 or 4 of the units from that same landlord owner to potentially rent. So it's a great way to scale in the beginning and get off to a good start. And so on the acquisition side, so you're looking to buy a 3-bedroom in Atlanta?
I'm hoping to, yes.
Okay. And are you looking to buy something that's already kind of retail ready to go, or are you going to be doing like a minor rehab on it, or what's your thoughts there?
Well, minor. Paint, bathroom, maybe kitchen, small stuff, nothing major.
Okay.
I looked at doing flips at one time, and that's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything's not for everybody. So, but definitely, I don't want to go out and have to spend $500,000 on a house either. So, minor things that I can, change. And
Okay. And in the BNB investing program, are we kind of walking you through a different strategy with acquisitions compared to master lease opportunities?
yes. Are you asking? Say that you asked me a question. I thought you.
Yeah. So is there, in the
Yes.
course, in the BNB program, is there a way to kind of have a different look or a different viewpoint if you're acquiring a property instead of doing master lease?
Yep. So in the course, I took them. I started with the master lease, meaning I'm, renting from somebody. So I started with that. There's a whole separate part of the course, that's acquisition. So it helped. I haven't started it yet, but that's my plan to do that, to help you how to get funding and all that kind of stuff, so that you can actually start to look to buy. So that's
Okay,
my next.
cool. Yeah, and so I mean, what I like is the diversity, right? So to your point, you can be looking at different opportunities, and whichever comes first, you can kind of engage with. And the other strategy, obviously, is managing other investors' properties, which is another
Right.
quick way to grow if you don't have a lot of capital in the beginning. And so we have a separate track that focuses on, how do you prospect for those types of clients, and what kind of agreement should you be using, what kind of reports should you be sending to those clients, and so we kind of arm you with all that. So later on, you can also add that on as well as a third strategy if you wanted to.
I'll be doing that also, because I have a brother who has a house in Maryland that he is ready to start to do it. So finally, because I've been telling him for a long time, we need to do something with your house. So I'll be definitely taking the property management, so I can do that for him also. So.
Okay, very cool, very cool. So big picture, long term, where are you trying to get to in the next 12 months or so? How many units do you want to get to?
Okay, so my goal is 6, and at least 1 out of the country, in DR.
Okay. In DR, of course.
Yeah.
What part of DR?
I don't know yet. I'm actually, Rich, I haven't told you this yet, but I'm actually speaking with a real estate agent in DR already.
Nice.
So
Nice.
a real estate friend of mine here introduced me to an agent there. So I'm looking at that also. They have new builds. So.
New builds. Okay, very cool. Yeah, no, there's a lot of opportunity in DR as well as other parts of the Caribbean. We actually have a two-bedroom condo in Montego Bay, Jamaica, that we do vacation rentals with, and it's great to be able to have somewhere to stay when you visit as well, and at the same time you're making money. So,
Yeah.
yeah, don't forget too in DR, you can also, and you probably already are doing this, but you besides acquisitions, you can still be looking at master lease strategies there too.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we do rental arbitrage opportunities in Jamaica and some of the other countries as well. So it's not too different in terms of the how you go after it and how you structure it and how you do your market analysis. It's in a different country, but all of the same principles apply. And that again, that's what I like about this business. You can do it anywhere in the world
Right.
for those different strategies.
What part of Jamaica is yours?
Montego Bay,
Oh, okay.
yeah. It's near the free zone where they have all the call centers.
Hmm.
It's kind of on the bay side.
Okay.
Okay, so 6 properties, at least one in DR in the next 12 months. And so beyond that, is that what's kind of your end game? So is that going to give you kind of passive income to just, not have to work on your full-time business, or kind of what's your end game there?
Well, Rich, when I listen to you with your 75 units, you be pushing me. I don't know if I want to do that many, but I don't know. I definitely, my goal is to never ever work for anybody again. I do love to still sell travel, so I don't want to stop that either. But I would have to think a little bit more to figure out what my end game is as far as the Airbnbs.
Yeah, I mean, because when you get to a certain number of listings
Mm-hmm.
operationally and what it takes to kind of handle it from cleaning teams, maintenance teams, back office, guest communications, you know, it takes a very similar amount of effort to do 10 as it does 50, right?
Okay.
And so if you have the opportunity to scale and add more units, it's not going to change your overhead expense too much, and that's why it gives you the flexibility to be able to start with a foundation, start with some master leases or some properties you own, but then be able to have the flexibility to manage other people's properties. Because at the end of the day, if those opportunities are there and you can make 25% of their rental income and you just throw it into the same process that you already have set up without too much additional expense, essentially you're just adding more net cash flow every month and being able to do that fairly easily. It's not till you start getting north of 65 or so listings that you have to make some major changes to operationally. At that point you probably have to hire someone. And so we manage 75 properties without any employees. It's my wife and myself. She handles a lot of the kind of the oversight of the cleaning operation and staging and setting up properties. I handle kind of all the technology, the bookkeeping, the financial aspect of it, the pricing, and then we have a lot of duties that are delegated that kind of come off of our plate. And so, once you've got it built up to that level, and you have the opportunity, so I'm not suggesting you should say, maybe I should get 100. No, not really. But if it's not too difficult to change your infrastructure and handle the operation and maintain those good reviews and the quality with the hospitality with the guests, then it's definitely achievable. Within a couple years, 2, 3, 4 years for sure.
I appreciate the push. That's why I'll be right there at your coattail. And I have been for the past couple years following you and your wife. So
Okay, well, awesome.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad we were able to get you on today and kind of tell us your experience. We'd love to have you back again because I'm sure you're going to be trailblazing and very quickly getting a couple more listings. And so we'd love to have you back on again and kind of talk through those opportunities for sure. Did you have anything else you wanted to touch on before we close down?
I don't think so. Thank you.
All right. Well, awesome job, Tarri, and thank you so much for taking the time. And for those of you watching, again, BNB Investing Group, we provide coaching and consulting to investors like Tarrian that want to kind of grow their business and get started. Our whole objective is to get you up and running with your first listing, generating revenue within the first 90 days, and then kind of building a scalable business from there. And so if you're interested in that, feel free to send me a message on Facebook Messenger, and we can schedule a quick call and see if this is something that might be a good fit for you, or kind of get more info on what your goals and objectives are. So Tarrian, thanks again so much, and we'll hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right. All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for jumping on the BNB Investing Podcast this week. Please click on the subscribe and like button below. For more trainings, property tours, and content, you can join my BNB Investing Facebook group by clicking below. If you are ready to grow your short-term rental portfolio and maximize your monthly income, you can click on the link below to schedule a quick strategy call with Rich or someone from his team to see how we can help or point you in the right direction. Stay tuned for our next episode and hope to see you on the BNB Investing Group podcast.